Adventures to a special edition of Game Warriors Top 5. I am your host, Charles Almighty Wraith, and this is Almighty Wraith's Top 5 DM Tips. So, as you can see in front of me, I'm sitting at my D&D table that I built, and let me give you a little overview of it. Where's it at? There. And you see right up here, it's kind of the setup that we have going down here. Similar to a setup that we played here recently. But anyway, now you don't have to have an elaborate setup like this to enjoy D&D. Obviously you're going to have a couple sets of dice, which I've got quite a few. Some kind of map thing. This is one that I printed offline and laminated so I could mark on it and everything else. And then some kind of rule books and stuff like that, which you can buy sets and stuff. These are just a few of mine. And you don't have to have the fancy figures like I got right here, stuff like that. That's just some. I've only collected a handful of them. You can use, like I got a bag of different little tokens that represent monsters and my fighters and stuff like that. But I'll get into that in a later video. So we're going to look at my top 5 DM tips for someone who's starting out, or even if you've been a veteran DM, dungeon master. So we're going to get off into number 5. Number 5 is some pre-made characters. So a lot of the sets that you get will actually have little pre-made characters in there that work well. And then I've got a handful, just a few of them. I've got right here 2, 4, 5 pre-made characters. The reason why I feel like this is an important tip is, for example, this past weekend, my daughter and her boyfriend had come over to visit, and he had never played and had been wanting to play, so we did an impromptu little D&D session, and to see, instead of spending time setting up him a character and everything, he just chose one of my pre-made characters to kind of see how the game played and everything. And it helps speed up the process, because planning an adventure and creating characters and stuff like that can be time consuming and everything. So if you've got somebody that just kind of pops up, or comes with someone else who's already got a character, this way they can go ahead and still enjoy the fun without you spending a whole lot of time trying to create them a character. So number 4 goes along with that, and that's One-Off Adventures. So on top of that, I have some pre-made monster sheets and stuff like that I can kind of recycle and come up with a little one-off adventure. So like I had a handful of orcs and goblins and a night walker and a couple other things that I had that went well in a little quick dungeon setup. And so I basically had an adventure fleshed out within 30 minutes or so for them to enjoy, and to find out whether or not he was going to like it and everything. So, like I said, I'll recycle some of the stuff, and I'll have a very generic layout. And the pre-made maps and stuff like that, if you have those, makes it even easier. I like to use the setup I got down here. So it makes it a little bit more time consuming, but still, just create it as you go. Know kind of what you're wanting to do. Very generic. Their adventure was that they were trying to rescue somebody that had gone missing. Gone missing. So, all right. So number 3 is group messages. Now, we have, for me, one of the biggest things is setting up your adventure, getting your adventures from point A to point B, to start the session, giving your backstory, and so on and so forth. One thing I found that I do is I've created a private group on Facebook. We've used text messages before and stuff like that, where the adventures and stuff like that, you can set up your story in advance, so that way uh, when y'all actually get together to do your your D&D session, all you have to do is do a quick recap of what's transpired. Story's ready to go, and this also helps you kind of lay out your map, your dungeon, and everything else, however you want to do it. So, and then plus you can sit there and actually have little mini adventures on the way. So I'll put them, I've put some of them where they had to do make a choice of which way to go, and it becomes interactive and kind of lets you have some D&D fun without actually having to get together. Um, so right on to number 2, backup plans. So, the saying, make a plan, execute the plan, expect this plan to go off rails, throw out the plan, that type of thing. Yeah, that's basically what DMing is. Uh, you can lay out the best setup and everything else, but being that they have choices, it can go off the rails real quick. I know one time we sat there, it was very simplistic setup as far as they were having to ask questions to figure out which door to go through. Um, in my DM planning stage, I expected them to spend maybe 5-10 minutes there, and they spent over an hour trying to figure out and overcomplicating it. Um, so I had to come up with a backup for it real quick, to kind of speed things along. Just like this past weekend with our little impromptu session, they were supposed to rescue this guy, and I'd already had certain things set up, and I'd set it up based on how my son and my wife and daughters usually play. They're checking the bodies for keys and jewels and this, that, and the other. Well, my son got a little overzealous because we haven't played in so long that he just decided he was going to go up there and cut the guy free. So had him roll, and he got a 1. So he critically failed his attempt at this and ended up slicing off the guy's arm instead of freeing him from the chains. Now, granted, they didn't know that this guy that they were rescuing was actually a bad guy, but, so it kind of worked out in their favor, but at the same time, it was a complete accident. So then they're sitting there trying to figure out how they're going to heal him and stop the bleeding. So, yeah, make the plan, execute the plan, expect the plan to go off rails. So have backups and contingencies. It's real fun, to kind of come up with some stuff. And if you know your party real well, you'll know kind of how they play, and so you can kind of expect to see how it's going to go. Which leads me to number 1: have fun. This is a game. game of imagination and, you know, team building and, you know, decisions and stuff like that. You're gonna have a lot of fun, especially if you have the right group of people around. Um, so don't take it too serious. Again, you know, expect your plan to go awry, but have some fun with it. Uh, I could have easily, had my son hit the wall and get his sword stuck or anything like that. So just have some fun with it, catch them off guard. Um, you know, just like I said, have fun, be creative, uh, and everything. So, in closing, to my fellow DMs and everything, what are some of your tips that you would give someone that's getting into D&D, especially as far as running a campaign? What are some things that I might have missed or anything of that nature? Love to hear from you guys. Until next time, this is Charles Almighty Wraith saying stay awesome. Hey guys, this is Charles Almighty Wraith, and we hope y'all enjoyed our video and everything. Be sure to check us out on all of our other social media networks, such as YouTube,
Facebook,
Twitch,
Twitter,
Instagram,
and Patreon.
And also be sure to like and share the videos. And all right, until next time, this is Almighty Wraith and
Race Life 58.
saying stay awesome.